Coming up, a wintry start to the weekend.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. It's been a pretty crazy day weather-wise, and there's even a chance some snow could cover the ground in some places tomorrow morning, especially in the higher elevations. Meteorologist Evan Hatter joins us now with more on what to expect. Evan?
That's right, Steve. Some folks already getting in on the action here this evening. I mean, we look at the high knob camera at UVA-wise right now, and you can kind of see a kind of a haze in the distance. That's some of that rain and snow falling at the moment. We're right at freezing there, by the way. Out front here at WYMT, it's dry right now. Lights shining there across the street at Black Gold Plaza. Highs today were chilly, only in many spots into the mid and upper 40s. Couple of low 50s, but it was well below normal today. And even right now, it's even colder. We're just about universally in the 30s right now. Wise is already at freezing. Outside of that, it's 34 in Clintwood, the next coldest temperature. Some of this is still falling as rain, but notice in our highest elevations, southern Perry County, parts of Harlan and Letcher County, we're transitioning some of that over to snow. You saw some of that just then on the UVA Wise camera. We are seeing some of that move into Wise County. Everything here continues to shift off to the east overnight, and you see out to the west, we're not done yet. We have more of those showers to go tonight and into tomorrow, so showers turn to flurries overnight. We're in the mid-30s for overnight lows. Now, I'll have the latest on when we start to warm things up coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Sure doesn't feel like April. Thank you, Evan. Some members of the London City Council are calling on the mayor and city attorney to resign. It comes after a report into money issues from the state auditor. State Auditor Mike Harmon's report found a dozen issues, from an expensive concert paid for, then canceled without a contract, to bonuses, to how vendors were paid. Councilmember Kelly Green says at a special called meeting last night, she asked for both the city attorney and the mayor to resign.
All through the report, it kept saying that the council was not made aware of these things, and we weren't. Such an audit should not have happened. And I think it's a big slap in London's face.
So far, no action has been taken. We reached out to both Mayor Troy Rutter and City Attorney Larry Bryson, but were not able to reach either one. Today, Governor Andy Beshear vetoed House Bill 3. It creates multiple new restrictions on abortions in Kentucky. Those include banning abortions after 15 weeks and restricting access to medicinal abortions. In his veto message, the governor brought up concerns he has for victims of rape or incest. He also questioned the constitutionality of the bill. It mirrors a piece of Mississippi legislation that the Supreme Court of the United States is expected to hear. Kentucky Republicans will likely have enough votes to override the governor's veto. Governor Beshear also vetoed House Bill 7, which would put tighter restrictions on public benefits. The governor said the bill would make it more difficult for people in need to get help. House Bill 8 was also vetoed by the governor. It would reduce the state income tax, ultimately eliminating it. Governor Beshear said new taxes in the bill could weaken public safety and harm the state's tourism industry. In a statement, Kentucky Republicans criticized the veto, saying the bill would have delivered relief to Kentucky families. So again, we'll have to see what vetoes are overridden in the legislature next week. COVID-19 appears to be on a continued downward trend here in Kentucky. Look at that map, all that green. As you can see, every county is green now except Anderson County, which remains yellow. As of this past Monday, the state's positivity rate was only 1.97%. April is Donate Life Month. More than 100,000 Americans are on the waiting list for a life-saving organ transplant. Donate Life America says 17 people die every day waiting for an organ. It's why activists are encouraging people to consider being a living donor. Chad Hedrick has one Kentucky woman's story.
It is a moment that changed Beth Burbridge's neighbors' lives when she told them she was a match for their son's organ donation.
I thought this could have been one of our children. This could be one of our kids that, we're reaching out, desperately hoping that someone can step forward to save them.
It's why she decided to be a living organ donor. It was a simple decision for her, but it came with many barriers from her employer.
The company considered the surgery elective. So what that meant is that I took 4 vacation days and 2 weekend days, and I returned to work 6 days after donating my kidney.
A major operation that takes weeks to recover from. At the time, Kentucky had no laws protecting living donors, and Beth's family couldn't afford for her to go unpaid.
I was able to work from home. If I'd had to go into an office, if I'd had to teach a classroom of kids, there's no way that I would have been able to go through with this surgery.
The American Kidney Foundation gives Kentucky a C for its existing laws and protections for living organ donors. Only 2 are in place and were just passed last year, giving public employees separate paid leave for up to 8 weeks for an organ donation. The other protects donors from insurance discrimination.
We can do better. We know we can do better for all of the Kentucky families that are depending on us to do better.
Beth has been an advocate for change and was instrumental in passing the laws that are now in place. But she says there is still work to do to get Kentucky at the top of the list.
To be able to say we can do better, that legislators will see that and know, hey, we have an opportunity not only to help living organ donors, but to save Kentucky lives.
Chad Hedrick, WYMT Mountain News.
Legislation was filed in Frankfort this year that would give companies a tax incentive if they adopted policies that benefited employees who were living organ donors. It was never assigned to a committee, though. Beth says she and other activists plan to keep pushing for it and other laws between now and next session. Right now, more than 1,000 Kentuckians are on the organ donor waiting list. The city of Bevansville is recovering after a man vandalized more than 20 homes, businesses, and cars. Floyd County Sheriff John Hunt says Nicholas Justice of Bevansville threatened business owners with a hatchet and smashed the windows of numerous others. Hunt says sheriff's deputies and KSP are investigating Justice. Sheriff Hunt says this is not his first run-in with him.
Yeah, he's a known individual to both law enforcement and to the community here, so law enforcement's dealt with him in the past, and so he was not a stranger to, thank goodness the people in the community knew him, could identify him real quick.
When Hunt arrested Justice on Friday afternoon, Justice had swapped his hatchet for 2 chainsaws. Hunt says the arrest was made without any problems. Kentucky State Police are investigating a shooting that led to the death of a Knott County man this morning. Police say the shooting happened in the Red Fox community close to the Letcher County line. Police say Harold Jevenin tried to get into his brother's home. In response to the attempted break-in, Tony Jevenin shot and killed Harold. No charges have been filed. The case will be presented to a grand jury. A building in the city of Hindman partially collapsed yesterday. The incident happened around 3 p.m. and nobody was injured. City officials say they've contacted the building's owner and are working out a plan. Mayor Tracy Neese says the building in question has been abandoned for some time.
It was a clinic at one time. It is the former social service building. Then it was a clinic for a little while, and then the doctors left. And it has been abandoned for some time.
Neese says they are sectioning off the property until the area is deemed safe. He asks everyone to stay away from the building. Buying a home is becoming less affordable for more Americans. A new report from real estate data firm Adams says home prices in most areas are up at least 10% from just 1 year ago. After the pandemic wreaked havoc on the economy, home buying recovered quickly, fueled by record low interest rates. But a historically short supply of homes was outstripped by the demand, which sent home prices higher and higher. The report found home prices have now outpaced wage growth in most markets, and for more than half the counties included in the report, the cost of ownership was way over the 30% income guideline. A Norfolk Southern Railroad crossing in Pulaski County is closing temporarily. The railroad crossing will be closed at the intersection of Kentucky 635 and Kentucky 2308 Tuesday to undergo maintenance work. The closing will last 3 days and a detour will be in place. Drivers are asked to be careful in that area. Tomorrow, the Bluegrass Stakes runs at Keeneland in Lexington. Day 1 of the spring meet got off to a wet start today. It was College Scholarship Day as well as opening day. Attendance is capped at 20,000 fans for the meet. There were a lot of students at the track today and people from South Carolina, Ohio, and even farther away. One man was there for a special occasion, his birthday.
Actually, the bugler played Happy Birthday. Didn't see that coming. We were just kind of hanging out. Next thing I know, we're down here and he's playing. We got to take some pictures with him. So it's been an awesome experience.
There were a few rain delays today, and at one point it was even sleeting, as it was here in eastern Kentucky throughout the day. Some people at the track told us they are holding out for some better days, hopefully later this weekend. We'll see. Well, one Prestonsburg man just surprised his neighbor with a handcrafted structure to support a specific safety mission. When Kay Willis posted to Facebook asking the community for guidance in building a caterpillar sanctuary, Tom Moak took it upon himself to craft something together. He dropped the sanctuary off less than 24 hours later, saying he's always happy to use his woodworking hobby to lend a hand in his Prestonsburg community, and is excited to see how Willis uses it on her mission to protect and photograph monarch butterflies.
What'll be fun is to watch the butterflies that'll hatch here hopefully in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and she'll be able to post that, and I think that she'll enjoy that, but more importantly, she'll share that with everybody.
Willis uses her hobby to inform people about caterpillars and butterflies, and the sanctuary is something her husband planned to create for her prior to his death last year. So she was in awe that Moak made it happen now. 2 years from today, a total solar eclipse will cross the United States, including a small part of Kentucky. According to NASA, far western Kentucky will be in the path of totality, along with 12 other states. The last time the U.S. experienced a total solar eclipse was back in 2017. That also crossed over western Kentucky, including Hopkinsville. It was a partial eclipse here. You can expect to see the next solar eclipse April 8th, 2024. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, wildfires in East Tennessee are finally under control and the cleanup begins.
I was actually lucky enough to see that eclipse back in 2017. It was a breathtaking event. Cold air continues to filter into the region late tonight and into tomorrow. I've got the latest on when we can see some flurries coming up.
No matter what town or community you live